So for my project, I decided to do the costume designing portion for intimate apparel. And my first person I decided to do was Mrs. Van Buren. Throughout the play of intimate apparel, the like the fabrics and the textures of clothes is really emphasized, and I think it shows the difference in class and difference in wealth between people like Mrs. Van Buren and people like Esther and Mr. Marks, who have to work for a living, or not have to, but you know. And so Mrs. Van Buren, in scene 5, this is what this sparked my idea for her, was the hand-dyed silk scene. So she's depicted wearing a hand-dyed silk corset and a lace kimono. And so I depicted her doing that because I felt like this outfit would show her class or her status the most. And also it shows that the fact that she's wearing a corset with a kimono shows that she's a little bit more risque than normal. Not normal, but the typical fashion of this time, because it's even described as being low cut, which is not seen typically in this time period. And also I decided to add some flowers in at the bottom to show the true kimono style. And then my second person was Mr. Marks. My idea for him started with the scene where Mr. Marks and Esther first meet, and we first meet Mr. Marks. Mr. Marks was described wearing a tuxedo with a missing button, so I decided to bring the tuxedo, and I wanted to make it tattered and worn to show his hard work and his dedication, and how he was described as living in a small apartment and everything. He obviously does not have that much, but he still works for everything he has. I also decided to show like the missing button and emphasize that, because I feel like it shows that not everything is put together, and that's okay. Like, he's still a good person even though not everything is put together. And then lastly is Esther. Esther was the one where I felt I had the most creativity, because in this play there was a lot of detail on fashion and how people should look. So, but there wasn't as much for Esther, and so I wanted to depict her. I wanted to depict her in just like a long dress, especially at this time when everyone was wearing like long clothes and it was very modest. I wanted to depict that for her. Also, I wanted to make everything look tattered and worn to show how hard she works, and that like she doesn't get the option to have 8 different outfits of clothes a day like Mrs. Van Buren, and get the outfit to change all the time and have all these luxurious fabrics. She has to work for what she has, and I figured that this outfit would show her show that well. Also, side note, I wanted Mrs. Van Buren's hair to be like up, just because in this scene I feel like she's just like calm and like not like going out or anything. So I wanted to be up, but I wanted to show how like hers is like looser to show like carefreeness, and hers is tighter to show her hard work. So yeah, that's my project, and these are my looks.